What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Stellar Highway. My name is Motormind. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to talk about Solo, a Star Wars story. I'm a week late, but I finally got myself into the theater to see this thing. And as a lifelong Star Wars fan, I kind of wanted to share my thoughts. And I've done nothing but comic books, so this is a different territory for me. But movies are important to me. They always have been. It just takes the right movie to get me into the theater. So Star Wars movies get me into the theater. So basically, I went into this thing guarded. I went into this thing with, holding my arms up, like a boxer, just guarding my face, just getting ready, because I felt like I was nursing a wound. I was nursing an injury that was given to me by The Last Jedi. Like a lot of people, The Last Jedi just kind of divided and fractured Star Wars fans, and that's nothing new. It's been up and down ever since midichlorians back in 1999 or whatever. Star Wars has been a bit of a roller coaster ride. It's hard to deny that, since the new prequel trilogy came out, people have started to go different directions on Star Wars. Some people supporting it fully, some people taking it more middle of the road, some people hating it, some people just wanting to recapture the magic of the original trilogy. And I kind of can see all of this. Now, because I went into this thing so guarded and so worried, I didn't want to get Last Jedi'd again. It was hard to relax and just enjoy it, for the first half hour or so. And it is a bit slow. I mean, you'll hear people talk about the pacing being off and, things like that. And I mean, that is all true, but given the drama and stuff behind the scenes of this movie, and I mean, it's touched on everywhere on the internet, so I won't go into that. But I mean, just given the drama and all the speculation and scandal and stuff like that, this thing should have been a colossal train wreck, and it's not. However, it's just kind of middle of the road. This is not going to blow anyone's socks off, I don't think. If you liked Rogue One, you're probably going to like Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, there are a few things that I can kind of compare and contrast between Rogue One and Solo. Now, at the beginning of Solo, we're introduced to kind of Han's mentors. There's a kind of a new crew of characters introduced that Han runs with at the beginning of this movie. I liked those guys. I wanted to see more of them. However, it just kind of serves as a setup for the second half of the movie, which introduces some of the legacy characters like Chewie and Lando, stuff like that. But, I kind of wanted to see more of the new and original characters that Solo introduces. Whereas Rogue One, I liked that we were seeing new faces and that they were interesting or at least, compelling. And this movie has good characters, at least acceptable ones, and it's kind of a fun ride. So it's weird. Again, it's the roller coaster that is Star Wars. There's just, the expectations are so high. But at the end of the day, Solo ends up being sort of a middle-of-the-road movie. There are things in this movie that you can see, sparks of Star Wars, sparks of that magic. For example, a lot's been said about Alden Ehrenreich's portrayal of Han. You can see sparks of Harrison Ford in his performance. You can see little hints like, oh, he's on. He's nailing it. This feels like Han. But overall, it just ends up being middle of the road. It ends up being acceptable. Not offensive, not bad, just middle of the road. I mean, it's definitely not Han. It's not Harrison Ford. It's an acceptable stand-in. This is a really tough place for them. I mean, internally, I can't imagine the discussion they had, trying to recast these iconic characters. It would almost be safer for them just to create new, great characters, which I feel like they really haven't done. And for example, Star Wars, a big part of Star Wars for me is droids. I love robots, period. I love, giant robot mecha type stuff. And I also like just robots, like self-aware type robots, like, I don't know, like Transformers. I do not like Transformers movies, but just like self-aware, sentient robots. I like that sort of thing. So let's look at Rogue One versus Solo in terms of droids. Rogue One had the coolest droid in K2SO. Funny, cool looking, doing cool things, being like awesome. And Solo had the worst droid. Now, L337, the name of the droid, it's Lando's droid in Solo, looks cool enough, but just as soon as it opens its mouth, it's game over. Irritating, aggravating, not funny, just awful. You don't have to put up with it for very long, though. So thank God for that. But, the other cast in Solo, you have Woody Harrelson as Beckett, which is kind of like Han's mentor. If you like Woody Harrelson, you're going to like Woody Harrelson in this movie. He's doing his thing. He's doing his shtick. He always kind of is Woody Harrelson. And if you like him, you're going to like him here. I talked about Alden Ehrenreich already. Donald Glover as Lando, he does a great job. I mean, I think the guy has an extremely punchable face for some reason, but he does a good job. I mean, it does feel like Lando. It even kind of sounds like Lando. So it is a good performance. It does stand apart a little bit from the other characters. Chewbacca is great in this. They did the introduction of Chewie and Han is great. The building of their friendship and trust and camaraderie is great. Another major cast member is Emilia Clarke as Qi'ra. Again, just middle of the road. Not bad, not good. Just, it works, it works. She's definitely easy on the eyes. They give her some cool moments. There's a lot of references in this movie, for Star Wars fans. Little name drops of planets and bounty hunters and things like that you can enjoy. I mean, they definitely know the audience and they kind of, throw little things at you. But I mean, just as a movie, as a heist movie, I really enjoyed the first half better. The heist with the train on the snowy planet, with the new interesting characters, really did it for me. Whereas the second half of the movie is great with the Kessel Run and all that, but it sort of abandons those new and interesting characters for the legacy characters. And the movie does get a bit slow, and man, it feels long. Infinity War felt long, but by contrast, by example, Infinity War felt long, but I mean, it was just jam-packed with great moments and action and excitement and cool characters just non-stop. And Solo, again, it's just like, Solo is like one part Star Wars, one part water. It's just diluted. You can see the sparks, you can see the potential there, but it just never quite achieves it. Although I will say this, there is this great moment in this movie where they're doing the Kessel Run and they're trying to escape this essentially like a black hole, and there's this creature after them and the creature's getting pulled into the black hole. That's really cool stuff. But so highlights for me, the first heist, the building of Chewbacca and Han's relationship. Things that fell flat would probably be the third faction of like mystery antagonists. I think it was supposed to be a big reveal. I think it was supposed to be like, like, oh my goodness, it's the beginnings of the rebellion. This is the birth of the rebels. Well, I feel like we've seen that already. I feel like we got that in Rogue One. I feel like we got that in some of the other media like Rebels and stuff like that. I don't think that landed like they thought it would. It didn't tug at my heartstrings or get me pumped. So, that fell flat for me. But again, just the humor didn't land. But I mean, again, sparks of good stuff. But For a movie that, by all rights, should have been a colossal train wreck on the level of The Last Jedi, they managed to pull it off. Middle of the road. You know, not too bad, not too great either. I want to see where Star Wars ends up. Again, this is just part of the crazy Star Wars roller coaster ride. You know, can we get some new leadership in here? Can we get some new talent? Can we get people that are willing to leave their weird politics and identity politics and stuff out of it and create more of, like create a new, good, compelling trilogy? I want to see where Star Wars is going. There is still hope. They can still turn this thing around, or, they can abandon what we've got and hand it over to somebody to reinvigorate it. Star Wars should be doing gangbusters. It should be big. It should be huge. It should be as big or bigger than Marvel. And right now, they just can't compete. It's just not as good as the Marvel movies. And that feels painful to say. I really want Star Wars to succeed. I do. I really do. So let's see where Star Wars goes from here. I'm not sure what's next on the agenda. I'm not sure what's coming up next. Maybe it's episode 9. I don't know. Who knows anymore? Are we going to get Boba Fett next? Are we going to get Obi-Wan next? Your guess is as good as mine. So, sound off on Star Wars below, sound off on Solo, let me know what you thought, ring the bell for notifications, subscribe. Thanks for listening in, thanks for riding with me on the Stellar Highway, and I will see you next time.